your hosts, Marcus Katkin and Matt Dougal.
Marcus Katkin and Matt Dougal back for the Blindside Fantasy Football Podcast. Matt, I think it's kind of funny. At the beginning of baseball season, I played a lot of baseball DFS, and kind of got out of it after a little bit, and then I ended up being one of those guys, one of those amateurish guys that, football's back, playing the football DFS on Sundays, Mondays, maybe a little on Thursdays, and the other days of the week I wanted something to do. I wanted to do something, so I started getting into Major League Baseball DFS again, the other days of the week, just to kind of keep things fun and interesting. And it's got me back into watching baseball. Like, watching baseball, listening to baseball on the radio, all that stuff I probably haven't done since I was like 10 or 11 or whatever. But I didn't realize until today, listening to the radio, listening to the baseball game on my drive home from work, how ridiculous that concept is. The fact that you're listening to somebody watch something and describe it to you. Like, just think about that for a second. How weird would it be if on this podcast I sat here and went, Matt is looking at me right now with a blank stare. And now he's kind of smirking. And now he's looking down at his notes. Now he's sighing, kind of looking around, doesn't really know what to say.
I see one correlation.
Do you see how weird that is? For me to sit here and, watch something and then just kind of retell it? It's just awkward. That doesn't work in anything else other than sports.
Yeah, that's true. But I'll tell you one thing that's definitely a correlation I see here. Baseball, it's way too long, it's boring, and so was that story.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just saying it's a little weird. All right, I get it, though. Let's move on to some of the things here.
Oh, God. We didn't rehearse that.
No, obviously not.
Sorry about that.
Don't forget to follow me and Matt on Twitter. Me at Marcus Katkin, Matt at Matt Dougal. If you're liking the podcast, obviously leave us some reviews up on iTunes. But, Matt, a couple of things I learned here in Week 5. You tell me what you learned. But Josh McCown is finally a startable quarterback. That happened. Devonta Freeman is God. Point blank.
Yep.
Done. And DeAndre Hopkins turning into Odell Beckham Jr., just like we said preseason.
Yeah,
last year ODB, not this year ODB.
No, but target God too.
Yeah, target God.
My God.
Yeah.
Those three are solid. Move on, I guess.
Look at you! You just want to fly through this thing tonight.
No,
moving on.
I agree with you. Those actually, before you said it, I was about to say Devonta Freeman's the best running back we've ever seen.
Yep.
This
week.
In the history of mankind.
In the history of this week. All right, so
let's talk about all this, though. That's what we do.
Let's jump into the games here, the upcoming games. Falcons at Saints. First of all, Julio Jones, they say he's going to play in this game, but he's going to be on a snap count. He missed practice yesterday. It is what it is. Season-long league, you're playing him. Daily leagues, I think you're staying away. That's pretty cut and dry for me.
Yeah. Because I don't think we can rely on him recovering fumbles in the end zone.
No, definitely not. Devonta Freeman, your number one fantasy running back right now, I've noticed, and this bit me last year, and it's starting to bite me again this year, but anytime you see somebody just kind of come out of the blue like this and just start blowing up, for me, I keep sitting back and going, this isn't going to happen again. This isn't repeatable. After the first 3-touchdown game, I said, this isn't going to happen again. And then it happened again. And then I said, all right, but this week is different. He's got Washington. And then he didn't blow up as big, but still blew up pretty big. Coleman's there. Back. You had all these things. But I noticed that this is very similar to last year with Odell Beckham Jr. I kept saying, oh my God, he had another huge week. There's no way he does it again. And then he would do it again. And then I would say, there's no way he does it again. And then he does it again. Is Devonta Freeman going to do that this year? Is he going to just keep blowing up every week? Is this sustainable? I want to say no.
Well, this point total I don't think is sustainable, but that doesn't mean he can't put up 15 to 20 a week and be in the conversation as one of the best running backs in football. and have these 25, 30-point games littered in.
He's getting so much work.
Yeah, and the eye test, for me, I use that all the time. He looks like it's not a fluke. He looks really good.
Yeah.
He can do it all. So you've heard it before, power between the tackles. He's quick. He's got some pretty good speed because it happens to, get to top speed extremely quickly with that acceleration. Plus, he can do it out of the backfield as well. So, I mean, he seems to do it all. It's funny. We were talking about over the weekend, and actually one thing we both did kind of do is be like, well, like you kept saying, but. And we were like, but, Coleman, this was his first game back. Maybe they were kind of easing him in, and next week he gets more of that, 8 to 12 maybe. But no. I mean, how do you take it away from him now?
Eight touchdowns in the last 4 games. 539 total yards in the last 3 games, 5 or more receptions in all those games. And the Saints have allowed 100 or more rushing yards to running backs in 4 out of 5 games this year. If you're playing a Thursday night game, he has to be in it. If nothing else, just to block your opponent. Like, I don't think you can get too contrarian here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even with his price tag going up, I think in tournaments you still kind of have to roll with him.
You can do it in other spots. Be contrarian.
Lots of naysayers on Drew Brees, but...
By the way, the toe, not a big deal.
No.
I don't think.
No.
But keep an eye on it, that's all.
Lots of naysayers on Drew Brees right now, but 300 or more passing yards in 3 out of 4 games this season. And he seems to have found a new favorite target with Willie Snead. Obviously one of the players, the deeper players I've been talking about the last few weeks, but Marcus Colston, separated shoulder. Willie Snead, the new number 1 wide receiver, it seems. I mean, maybe Cooks, because he had a 100-yard game finally last week, but, I mean, Willie Snead.
You brought him up a couple weeks ago, and I poo-pooed you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean,
looking
the
more
right
and more
things
legit.
kind of have happened. And sure, yeah, he had a nice week, 2 weeks in a row with 6 catches, and someone's got to step up out there because Cooks isn't.
I mean, he did last week, but Cooks hasn't been.
No, I mean, we don't. I think the beginning of the season is more of what you're going to expect from
the
him.
norm.
Yeah,
You think that's the norm? I gotcha. Redskins at Jets. Matt, Brandon Marshall is a legit wide receiver 1. 100 or more yards or a touchdown in every game this season. He's the only NFL wide receiver with 6 or more receptions in every game, and he gets a great matchup this week. I think the only thing that could derail him at this point is Geno Smith coming back.
Yeah, that won't happen.
It shouldn't happen.
Barring injury.
It shouldn't happen.
Plus, the way he's doing it, you watch him play, and he looks like he's Brandon Marshall again.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what happened last year. He's happy where he is, and he's playing. He plays like an animal,
Yeah, he looks like young Brandon Marshall again, that's for sure. And Chris Ivory looking good as well. Blew up over in London a couple weeks ago. How do you think he fares this week against the third best run defense? I mean, Devonta Freeman did look good against them, but I think Devonta Freeman's on a different level right now than Chris Ivory.
Yeah, but I think the Jets are a pretty decent team with a really good defense. If the game flow can let this happen, they're going to try to run the football. That's what they want to do, and they're going to get Brandon Marshall involved. They're going to run the football. And, I see Ivory always has a good chance to score a touchdown, What are you going to do? You're going to go away from him? Maybe you're not going to play him all over the DFS world.
Right, DFS you're not season long, obviously you are.
Yeah.
Some of these people you're just kind of tied to because of where you drafted them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we were talking about Julio last game there. You drafted him in a way that you have to play him whether you don't feel comfortable in him or not.
Right.
Antonio Brown's starting to get that way.
Yep.
You have to start him
Ben's
just because of what he is.
Shout out to Rob Druin, home league.
Yeah, picked up Antonio Brown pretty cheaply. Staying clear of the Washington backfield in this one for me. Last 3 weeks, who do you think has played the most snaps for the Redskins?
Thompson.
Yeah, and it's not even that close.
No.
Chris Thompson, 44% of the snaps. Matt Jones and Alfred Morris, both 27% each. So that's substantial. Chris Thompson, I played him in a couple of tournaments last week.
Jones
cheap and gets a lot of receptions.
Jones seems to be the goal line guy, and it all equals. I don't really want anybody. If I'm going to own one of them, it's going to be Jones for me, just because of the upside opportunity possible.
Yes.
If Alfred Morris goes away somehow.
Season long, it's Jones. DFS, it's probably Thompson because of how cheap Thompson is.
Yeah.
Speaking of cheap, Jamison Crowder. 6 receptions in the last 3 weeks. 6 receptions or more for each of the last 3 weeks.
Right. Yeah. He's another guy that. Am I going to Willie Snead him?
See, I think this is a little bit different just because I think
Garcon's coming back. I mean, Jackson's coming back.
sounding like he's going to play this week. So I think that's going to obviously kind of kick him back a little
absolutely.
bit.
Different narrative.
So I think it's a little bit different, but just something to pay attention to there. Cardinals at Steelers. We all love Le'Veon Bell, but going up against the Cardinals defense, giving up just 3.8 yards per carry, just 1 rushing touchdown to running backs this season. I mean, this is another one. If you have him in season long, you're playing him, but DFS, staying away.
Nah, I ain't staying away from him in tournaments, ever.
Well, tournaments, maybe. Well,
if a lot of people...
He's been very highly owned in tournaments, though.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Very highly owned.
If a lot of people look at this matchup and don't like it...
I think you're giving a lot of people out there too much credit.
You think so?
I think there's a lot of amateurs out there that just see the name Le'Veon Bell, put him in my lineup, and don't pay attention to stuff like that.
I'm not going to completely go away from him, I don't think. He's too involved in everything they do. And he's too talented that no matter how good the defense is, it takes one play with him.
Yeah, he's not really that breakaway type of
No,
guy.
I mean, I guess I don't have it in front of me, but over his career, I'd like to know how many 50 yards or more plays.
Bet there's not that many.
Something good to look up. Give us a tweet at if you want.
Do we see Martavis Bryant this week? I think we do. They finally activated him.
Yeah, I think so.
How do you think he does? I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him. I'm not excited for the guy throwing him the ball.
Yeah, right. I mean, I see an opportunity where Vic can kind of just let one go, though. I just see that. I see that for some reason.
We saw it last week.
Deep.
We saw that
into the hands.
74-yarder.
Exactly. But who do you want to throw it to? Martavis all day, so... I like it. I like that he's coming back. If you've got him season long, you're pretty excited to have him. I've been trying to trade for him in our home league all year. I'm going to go to him in some tournaments. What about you?
Yeah, tournaments, absolutely.
Yep.
All over him in tournaments.
Yep.
I didn't look up his pricing for this week, but last week on DraftKings, he was priced at $3,800.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's
cheap.
great. Yep.
Crazy. Matt, I know you're following the Arizona running back situation closely, so listen to these week 5 snap counts. And
Yep.
this is not percentages. This is number of snaps. Chris Johnson, 17. Andre Ellington, 13. Stephon Taylor, 10. David Johnson, 6.
Yep. Not good if you're a David Johnson owner.
It's not good if you're an anybody owner. 17 snaps for Chris Johnson?
Yeah.
17?
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
That is nothing.
Yep. Sell extremely high.
God, I mean,
Quickly.
if you can sell high on Chris Johnson, you should have already done it.
Yeah. I didn't
number
look at the
one.
snap counts for this week. Not a game I've seen yet, so I didn't know
But
that.
even the rest
Wow.
of those guys, just yuck.
Yep.
That's
You going to
gross.
own any of them? It's Ellington.
I think if you could sell
and
high,
Johnson.
I think if you could sell high right now, it's David Johnson. Just
12?
because those touchdowns,
Yes.
you might be able to go to somebody and convince them. He's
Look
the
at
goal
the
line back.
games.
He's getting touchdowns. He's been getting touchdowns.
I think
And
11 points or more in every game but one.
Yeah, go and show them that. Don't show them the 6 snaps.
Yeah.
6.
So is he getting to be droppable for you in a
No,
12-team league?
he's not droppable just because he's been putting up the fantasy points.
Yeah.
But that worries me.
Yeah.
That really, really worries me. Like I said, I would be selling him on the fantasy points he's put up, selling him on the touchdowns.
I'd like to know how many carries, how many snaps here in a game that was a complete blowout. Taylor got late. Is that why Chris Johnson got 17 snaps?
Sure, maybe. I mean, it. Hold on, I'll bring up the previous week, and we can really tell.
I like the music. Was that edited in or was that real?
That was all me.
Wow.
Acapella, baby.
No, you're a beatboxer.
It was me and Nina, my wife. She is obsessed with pentatonics. It's like
No idea.
It's like an acapella singing group.
Why are you looking at me? Shouldn't you be clicking things
I
and
don't
looking
know.
this up?
It's just don't look up pentatonics sometime. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that like them. I don't get it.
Yeah, there's no problem if you do.
All right, week 4 snap counts. I mean, obviously this is pre-Ellington. Ellington's not back yet, but Chris Johnson, 38 snaps. David Johnson, 36.
Wow, straight down the middle. So, what
but-
do we know?
but
in the
both-
end, nothing. Stay away from all.
I would say both of those.
Play
so
David Johnson.
That's not a lot
and
of
Chris
snap.
Johnson.
That's not a lot of
And
snap
Ellington,
counts.
who knows? No one.
Chiefs at Vikings. Jamal Charles. Charkandrick West. Or which one's it going to be? Or, and I'm not taking credit for this because I did hear it someplace else. Is this the West Nile virus?
The West Nile virus. I like it.
I'm not taking credit for that. I did hear that someplace else, but I still like it.
I think that's what it may be. It's... I mean, I understand people put some money out there on Charkandrick West.
Yeah.
You know, you have an opportunity to get a starter. This kid's explosive, but I don't know. You know, Andy Reid said some things interesting, Marcus. You told me about him first. I read them. You know, basically that West kind of fit more to the style that Charles is, and he even said, you know, something to do with like his quick feet.
They didn't have to fit. They didn't have to change the game plan.
Right, and it happened mid-game. So
they didn't have to change the game plan, and
Yep.
I think
exactly.
week
we
in
don't
between they have time to change the game plan and stick the guy in that's the better player.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens.
I can't see them getting away from Nile Davis after what Nile Davis did last year.
He averaged 3.5 yards a carry. He had 4 fumbles and like 180. You know, I
thought
think 181
he
rushing
looked
attempts
good last year.
I know, but
taking
3.5
over.
yards a carry, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. You know who had 3.5 yards a carry his rookie year? Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, that's true.
Just saying.
Yeah. So did Trent Richardson, I think, 3.6.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that doesn't make for a good real life football player, but it still could make for a good fantasy running back. Going back a little bit further, Michael Turner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was pretty good. We went straight from Le'Veon Bell all the way down to
Michael
Trent
Turner.
Richardson
And Michael Turner.
No. I mean, we were yeah. Michael Turner had a solid career, my friend.
Poor Michael Turner.
No, he was a good player. Stuck behind LaDainian Tomlinson for the start of his career, and then was a stud for a while.
Yeah, he was a big time stud. It was him and AP. I remember a couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, do you draft him? Or do you draft AP? AP's still playing, and Michael Turner's been watching him play for the last few years. Does this have any impact on Travis Kelce or Jeremy Maclin? Do they throw the ball more? Are they behind more in the games and have to throw the ball more? That kind of narrative.
Sure, but it's also going to make it harder because there's not a guy named Jamal Charles that you have to worry about out there. You know, it's 2 narratives.
So you think it just cancels itself out? You think there's no overall impact on these two?
I think the Chiefs get a lot worse, so maybe there's a little more volume to go around.
I think there's going to be more for Maclin. I feel.
Yeah,
I feel like
sure.
there's more. I feel like there's
more big plays.
I feel like when we talk about garbage time goes to wide receivers, not tight ends. It's just kind of how the flow goes. Maybe not with Alex Smith because
good tight ends
Alex
too.
Smith
They're in
is in
zones and tight ends run underneath a lot. So
yeah. Matt, I got nothing exciting to say about the Viking side. I'm sure you probably do.
I mean, Adrian Peterson, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to talk about there, though. It's Peterson. You're playing.
I'm keeping an eye on the wide receiver position.
Yeah, I mean, against
Stephon
the Chiefs.
Diggs.
Well, against the Chiefs, too. The Chiefs giving up a lot of...
I think Wallace is going to be a nice tournament option against a not good secondary in Kansas City. And then
Chiefs have allowed 13 passing touchdowns, only 2 interceptions on the year.
I'm not that I'm picking him up or anything. Obviously, I'm not. But I just want to see if Stephon Diggs becomes the number 2 there with a chance to be the best wide receiver in Minnesota by the end of the year. That's all. This is
the part of the podcast now where we, like the baseball thing. Marcus is shaking his head back and forth.
Yeah,
he's looking down in disgust. He is now puking under the desk.
Homerism, but somebody's got to step up in Minnesota.
Actually,
Benjamin did in Cleveland.
There is one thing I did want to point out. Viking side, though, I think the Vikings are a sneaky defense this week. No Jamal Charles, obviously, and the Chiefs have allowed the most sacks in the NFL this season. So there's that.
The Vikings have...
And it's not like you're afraid of Alex Smith if you're a defense.
The Vikings have a very, very favorable schedule coming up, too. A team that I picked up this week coming off a bye, I think it was a nice pickup. You can spend, fab budget we are in our home league. It's a low-price thing to pick up where you're not going to have to worry about it, I think, for a while. They're playing Detroit, then Chicago, then St. Louis, then Oakland before Green Bay in Week 11. So you can almost kind of, I think, count on this defense to get you into the 5 to 12 point range for the next. Matchups. You know what I mean?
Set it and forget it.
Yeah. So I think it's a good pickup now instead of just streaming defenses for the next couple of weeks in a fab budget situation where you're going to spend more money that way.
Absolutely. Bengals at Bills. Tyrod Taylor has a sprained MCL, but Rex Ryan still hasn't ruled him out yet.
He's doubtful.
He's
not going to play.
How do you not rule him out? Like, that's just... I feel like that's just ignorant. I feel like that's just playing games with the injury report.
Yeah.
That's crazy to
Sure.
me. EJ Manuel time, huh?
Yep. I'm excited to see it. He looked good this preseason. He really did.
Play your Bengals defense.
But it's preseason.
Play your Bengals defense this week.
I hear you. I hear you.
Big time.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had a nice game.
Obviously, there's much different situations going on for all four main running backs for these two teams. But let's rank them rest of the season. You know, McCoy, Carlos Williams, Jeremy Hill, Giovanni Bernard. Rank those four for me, 1 to 4. He's looking at me like,
wow.
Matt is looking at me. He's looking down at his notes.
He's
now thinking to himself, 1A, 1B,
yeah.
1C, 1D.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. Wait,
Yeah.
4A, 4B, 4C, 4D.
No, I mean, it's probably going to be Giovanni Bernard, number 1.
All right.
LaShawn McCoy, number 2, because I'm thinking playoffs. I guess that depends.
Playoffs.
Yeah, and then Jeremy Hill and Carlos Williams. I think if LaShawn can come back healthy, he's going to be really nice for your stretch run.
That's really close to what I had them. I had McCoy 1, Gio 2, Hill 3, Williams 4.
And the only thing with McCoy is let me know how much longer for sure. What if it's 4 more weeks? And I think I'd rather have
then you're dropping away.
and it could happen.
I'm assuming worst case scenario 2 weeks.
I'm an Alshon Jeffrey owner, right? I've been asking if he's been kidnapped or something. I don't know. I've been finally calling the cops, seeing if they've seen him in a while. It's just
I totally just had a great joke lined up, and I'm not going to say it because it's not appropriate. Damn it.
Yeah, that's good. Move on. We're PG.
Carlos Williams and McCoy. Do you think they play this week? Or are we going to see a boom and booby show again?
A boom and booby show.
Boom and booby.
Yep.
Booby and boom.
Interesting. Booby and boom show. It's not exciting.
Think Carlos Williams is back this week, you think?
I don't know. Still iffy.
It's weird how long it's taking them to get him back. Like
what's the reason? Maybe obviously he's got a concussion.
Obviously,
so.
I mean, still. But it's not like he's not a Jordan Reed where you're getting. He's had multiple concussions.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know his high school, college career.
That's true. All right, Charles Clay just 1 for 7 last week. I'm not worried about him.
No.
Yeah.
It was a rough game. 109 yards passing for Taylor. I think it was 109, right? He had a big run to save his day. What if you're a Taylor owner? You're bumming right now, right? Or you probably have another option because...
It's not often an injury happens to one of your guys that you're like, yes, all right.
Of course. But you're probably fine because you probably had 2 quarterbacks, or by now have you gotten rid of the other one?
You probably did.
So you're just waiting it out.
Because you kind of knew...
You're just waiting it out.
Tyrod Taylor was a free agent pickup. He was a waiver wire guy. So you probably drafted somebody that you didn't drop.
Yeah.
Maybe if you drafted Sam Bradford and he wasn't working out and you picked up Taylor and then week 3 you said, I'm dumping you, Bradford. Maybe then he was your only quarterback.
Yeah.
But I doubt it.
What about this idea that I had?
I guess maybe if you had like a Tony Romo, if that situation happened.
Most of these people might have 2 quarterbacks, right? That have Tyrod Taylor?
Probably.
What about going to make an offer right now? Guy's out for a couple weeks, maybe. Come on, dude. It's an MCL.
Trade for Tyrod?
Go get Tyrod if you got some piece of crap sitting on your bench that somebody will give up.
I'm kind of getting over Tyrod.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think he runs so well that he kind of does it both ways. Giving him one, I don't know.
Matt likes the guys that give it both ways.
That's what. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's the best kind.
Good Andy Dalton here to stay?
I think so.
It's looking that way.
So.
It's looking that way.
I'll tell you what.
He is currently your number 1 overall fantasy quarterback.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That's weird.
Yep. I'm disappointed that I don't have him on my fantasy team in the home league.
You know what's really weird?
Instead, I got Russell Wilson. Wasn't saying that 5 weeks ago.
In a 16-team league, I picked him up as my backup quarterback to Carson Palmer. And I've been rolling Palmer out every week.
Yep.
And I get that Dalton's on paper, the number one fantasy quarterback.
Who are you playing this?
That's just it. Who do I play this week? Do I play Palmer or do I play Andy Dalton? Andy Dalton against the Bills. Carson Palmer. Actually, we just talked about him. Carson Palmer against this. Well, you gotta go Palmer against the Steelers, right? Steelers defense is so bad.
Yeah, but the Bills actually are worse against quarterbacks than the Steelers this year. They're letting up actually 17.4 versus 17.2. Now, I don't know. It's close, and Dalton has kind of continued to be better. But also, you got to think that Palmer they've been blowouts. We haven't even really seen it completely yet, right?
I mean, well, we have, I think, week 1 and 2?
Yeah,
something like that.
It was great.
But I'm just saying, like, how weird is that? That's a weird... Dalton's the number 1 overall fantasy quarterback, and he has just been remaining on my bench.
Well, it's because it's not weird. Why is that weird? Dalton's kind of...
He's putting up numbers every week, and I'm just kind of like, I'm not believing it. And I want to believe it, but it's tough.
Why don't we?
I don't know, because it's Andy Dalton.
I think I do. I made up my mind this week, and I do.
Ginger Ninja.
I believe in it.
I believe in it, too. I think it's here to stay. Your boy, Tyler Eifert, now has a touchdown in 3 out of 5 games, 5 touchdowns on the season. Woo.
We had a little... You said... you offered me a trade. You got Gronk. And you said, yeah. I think you're good with baby Eifert probably, though, right? I mean, baby Gronk,
Baby Gronk.
And I said, hell no. He's toddler Gronk. No, you know what? Teenage Gronk. Teenage Gronk Eifert. Let me tell you that right now.
You know what happens to teenage kids? They run away. Teenage Gronk's going to run away on you one day.
Some teenage kids hit puberty and become even better.
I don't know. AJ Green, quietly your number 6 overall fantasy wide receiver. Did have that one big game, but he's been pretty quiet besides that.
Yeah. It's been disappointing this year.
Number 6 overall fantasy wide receiver?
Yeah.
You can't get too disappointed about that?
You're right. Good point.
Disappointed about that?
Yeah.
You didn't draft him as the number 6 overall wide receiver.
But it hasn't been there. He had one big week, and that's why he's up there. Otherwise...
The one big week wasn't that big. Standard leagues. I don't know. 220 yards and a touchdown, I think he was. Something like that.
Yeah, right around there. I mean, I hear you. Yeah, 6. You can't be too disappointed. Good point. Give it to you.
Bears at Lions. Matt, my notes.
We didn't even talk about the running backs, but I guess we did when we ranked them. Jeremy Hill, I told you, sell high after he had the 3 touchdowns. He's just not getting enough work.
No. Bears at Lions. Matt, my notes for this game is literally just a picture of a dumpster fire.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
That's what's there. Literally nothing.
One of the fires has to go out first, so... What do you think, though? These both teams are both pretty bad.
Just a dumpster fire. That's all I got. Both teams.
I think no, I disagree. If Alshon comes back this week, I like him. Here. I think he'll be healthy. If he's finally back, that means he's healthy.
Listen,
God, how long has he been out?
It's what we've been talking about so far this podcast. Season long, if you have Alshon, if you have Forte, if you have Calvin, you're playing them. DFS, you're not touching any of these guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you're right. Alshon, I don't know. I like Alshon. I'm a tournament guy, so I like Alshon.
I will say this: Alshon for tournaments.
If he's playing, I think he's close to 100%, right? As long as he's been out now. Obviously, not pushing it. Kid's been practicing 2-3 times a week for like 2-3 weeks.
Alshon for tournaments, I can buy into just because on sites like DraftKings, his price has gone down so low. His price on DraftKings has literally gone down. I think it's $1,600 or $1,800 since the beginning of the season, and he just hasn't played. Yeah. So to go down that much money just because he hasn't played is a little crazy.
And Cutler has actually been all right, and this is not a hard matchup. They're letting almost 23 points a game to wide receivers in standard league. It's standard league. We're not talking point per reception, and this is a guy that I think Cutler will go to if he's 100%. And I think if he's playing, he's got to be close to that, like I said. So that's it for me.
Broncos at Browns.
Forte, too.
Yeah. Broncos at Browns. If you told me after 5 weeks the Broncos would be 5-0 and Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders would combine for 3 touchdowns, I would have said it's because C.J. Anderson was just going nuts.
Right.
It's not the case. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird they're 5-0 and have very little fantasy relevancy.
Yeah, the defense.
Well, obviously
that's why they're 5-0.
Obviously, but that going into the season, you would not have said they're going to be 5-0 because of their defense.
Yeah, we were wrong.
You would have said they're going to be 5-0 because of Peyton Manning. They're going to be 5-0 because of Demaryius, C.J. Anderson.
Yep.
Not the defense.
Yep. I hate this running back situation.
I was going to say, so far this year, it's been start your running backs against the Browns, especially for daily. Do you dare start either one of these guys? I don't.
Fourth best or best matchup, I guess you could say, for running backs in the NFL. But
and I'm not touching either.
No.
Maybe Hillman, gun to my head?
Yeah. I
guess.
Yeah. That guy just put the gun to my head, too, right after, and I quickly went to my mind with Hillman.
By the way, we just talked about it, the Broncos defense. They are the highest scoring Broncos player this year.
Think of that situation. A guy puts a gun to your head because he wants to know which Denver running back to start. I would just say, dude, shoot yourself if you have them both on your team.
Oh, it's terrible. Owen Daniels killed me last week. After not stopping a tight end all season, the Raiders actually found out how to stop Old Man McDaniel. I'm saying McDaniels.
Yeah. Might as well call him that.
Old Man Daniels.
It's hard to say.
That's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it is. God.
They probably distracted him with pictures of kids or something. He was, look at kids.
Not in that kind of way. That's not what we meant.
Like I meant just because he's old.
Old man.
Grandpa-ish.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Look at the kids.
He was, yeah. You put him on your video, which you had a pretty good week. Guys like Deion Lewis,
my GPV video,
Allen Robinson, and
nailed it
again, and Gates. Yeah, but that one was not a good call.
No, and he was in every. In my
how
tournament,
could you blame yourself? Like you said, if you and I were running out there, we had like 5 for 62 with a touchdown against Oakland.
Gary Barnidge also. Gary Barnidge also. An old
Gary
man,
Barnidge,
and
Gary Barnidge.
What do Josh McCown, Travis Benjamin, and Gary Barnidge all have in common? Besides playing for the Browns.
They're all top 5 at their position over the last 3 weeks.
They're all top 11 at their position for the season.
Wow. Yeah.
We're talking... Okay, in a game...
Go further, over the last 3 weeks.
In a game... 5 weeks into the season, 5 full weeks into the season, going into week 6, we're talking about the Broncos and the Browns, and the Browns guys are more fantasy relevant.
Yep. Yeah.
Holy Christ, what has happened in the NFL?
No kidding, huh? Travis Benjamin, huh? In an offense that's throwing the ball like this, Travis Benjamin all of a sudden in 1 week became a number 1 wide receiver who basically plays every time in 2 wide receiver sets.
Keep talking. I'm looking up over the last 3 weeks for you.
In 2 wide receiver sets, he's basically playing almost every time. And targets have been, I think, at least 8 in 3 weeks in a row.
All right. I wasn't listening. Good job filling time. I hope that was theme music. I don't know what happened.
Yep.
Over the last 3 weeks, Josh McCown is your number 2 fantasy quarterback.
Yep.
Travis Benjamin is your number 19 wide receiver.
Oh, okay.
All right. Gary Barnidge, your number 1 fantasy tight end.
Yep.
There are
no
words.
You were making, I thought the stats I was throwing out there were terrible. I'm like, what?
See,
Travis Benjamin has been.
You should have been doing the baseball thing while I was looking that up.
Yeah.
And Marcus is scouring through the internet right now.
Good point.
He is making weird faces.
Unfortunately, So what I was saying, Travis Benjamin. We like him.
Yeah, no, he's been getting the targets, which you like. I mean, we just said it.
We were on that early.
Top 20 wide receiver for the last 3 weeks. Top 11 receiver for the season. Not as fluky as he was the first couple weeks of the season.
Right.
Much more consistent.
Yep.
In fact, I don't even think he scored.
In the last 2 weeks, I don't think he has.
Obviously, it's going to be a tough matchup for Browns players against the Broncos. But GPPs, I think you could stack these guys and do all right. Worked out last week.
Yeah. Duke Johnson, too, has been getting a lot of work. But Crowell continues to look good for me. And I don't know. I don't know if I see it going away where Duke is just the only guy. I really don't know if I see that, like people might think.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's going away. I think his role should only increase.
Right.
But we shall see. Texans at Jaguars. I love me some Arian Foster. 28 touches last week. He is instantly back to being a top 6-ish running back for me. Instantly.
Yeah, except this team is terrible.
I don't care.
But he stays involved.
I don't care.
Yep. I hear
Volume.
you. Yeah, and he's good.
Volume.
He's great.
Target monster DeAndre Hopkins.
14 more.
Are we worried about if the targets go down now that Foster's back, now that Foster gets much more involved?
No.
Not worried at all.
There's going to be more chances for him to score touchdowns. Just because
for him, though?
Yeah, I just think
Foster,
yeah,
he's the kind of red zone-ish guy, goal line guy.
I think it's going to help the offense move down the field more often when you have a guy like him.
I think DeAndre will still be a top 5-ish wide receiver. I don't think he's going to get the volume he's been getting. He's still going to be very, very good. I'm not downgrading him.
Why? How many fucking... He just got 14 targets, right?
Sure.
Yeah, 14 targets after Arian Foster got... How many touches this game as you led the goddamn game with 28, did you say?
He had 22 targets the week before. It's going down.
Okay, sure. Good point.
You know what I'm saying.
22 is sustainable.
You know what
Listen, how many games is Foster going to have 28 to 29 touches in?
You know what I'm saying.
Still had 14 targets.
You know what I'm saying.
Touchdowns haven't been there anyways the last few weeks.
Jaguars 6th best against the wide receiver, but 5th worst against the running back. Just gave up a monster week to Doug Martin. Arian Foster should have a nice week here.
Yep. Love him.
5th worst against running backs. Arian Foster.
What's he priced at this week, do you know?
He was actually really high on some sites.
Oh, okay. All right.
I want to say like on FanDuel, he was like 2nd or 3rd highest. Something crazy.
All right. Well,
which is a little crazy.
DraftKings, is a great matchup, though.
DraftKings, I think he was a little bit more affordable. But yeah, I mean, given the matchup and given the 28 touches, maybe even at those prices, you can't get away from him.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's...
Blake and the Allens, also a new band coming to Nickelodeon.
I like it.
Bortles dealing with a sprained AC joint, but still managed 300 yards and 4 touchdowns last week. Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson now both top 12 wide receivers this season. What is going on? I mean, seriously, this is just crazy fantasy this year.
Yeah. It's...
Browns are fantasy relevant.
Allen
Jaguars
Robinson,
are
I think,
fantasy
number
relevant.
8 wide receiver overall.
Crazy.
It's... I think it can continue. I think they're a team that's obviously not going to be in a ton of games, and if they are, they're going to continue to throw the football. Young, talented guys. Bortles is making a step in the right direction. Definitely this year, he's looking good. He's actually very fantasy relevant.
Very, I like him a lot.
I mean, he's been putting up some serious numbers.
I'm a Drew Brees owner, and if I had him on my team, he would probably be starting over Drew Brees.
You did have him at one point, and you dropped him this year.
This is correct.
Yep.
That was dumb.
Yeah. But at the time, I thought, you're dropping Blake Bortles, right?
Speaking of dumb, I tweeted this out earlier this week, and I just thought about how funny things change in a month to a month and a half.
Yeah.
Pre-season, I traded Mike Evans and Devonta Freeman for LaShawn McCoy and Tevin Coleman, and I was pumped because I thought I won both parts of that deal. I thought LaShawn better than Evans, Coleman's going to be the starter over Devonta.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm 3-2 in that league. I can't imagine what I would have been if I had not done that deal.
Unfortunate. Yeah, and
when I did,
I agreed with you, I think.
And when I did that deal,
high-fiving.
There was a little bit of an uproar about how I stole that deal. And I'm saying stole because I don't want to use the real words.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Dolphins at Titans. I know the Dolphins look like a mess after firing Philbin, but I still like them. I still like Landry. I'm still stashing Devontae Parker. I think the coaching change should only help Lamar Miller. In fact, I would go out and try to trade for Lamar Miller right now if you could.
You know what? You say that, but how much would you give up for him? Because I went to go do that numerous times in our home league. I had the same thought.
Everybody has everybody has different valuations of people.
Yeah.
So just because one person is stubborn,
I had trouble. I just had trouble doing it. Like, I get the
Giving
thought
up
process.
something?
I get the thought process, but like, what intel do you base that on? You know what I'm saying? Other than just what you think should probably happen.
it can only go up.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, you got to look at it as I'm trading for what Lamar Miller has been, and that's what I'm getting, but hoping you get better. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You give up value knowing this is what he's been, this is probably what he will still be, but there's that 30% chance he's not.
Right.
And that's what you're going after. Matt, who led the Titans running backs in snaps last week? This is an Arizona Cardinal situation all over again.
Bishop Sankey.
Bishop Sankey was a close second behind Dexter McCluster.
Okay, yeah.
McCluster 30, Sankey 23, Andrews 18, Jalston Fowler 7. I don't care about any of these guys.
I'm just keeping an eye on Andrews because he's the goal line guy. I'm pretty sure.
Can you even say that?
Yeah.
Goal line guy. I'm gonna look
Yeah,
this up.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, you can't. Last week they scored once, so I don't know how many opportunities there were.
So then how are you calling him the goal line guy?
Well, I mean, he was the guy in there to do it. Plus, he also got an opportunity the week before, but Fowler also did as well in that interesting late game situation. But I think Andrews is the guy. Plus, he also he had some nice plays after the catch, and I think he might be the best running back in that group right now. So running back's a tough position, and he's a guy you might have on your waiver wire. I think he's worth a roster spot.
I don't specifically have goal line statistics. I have red zone statistics.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 weeks, Andrews has 6 red zone looks, which is touches and targets. So Andrews has 6.
Yep.
Sankey has 4.
Yep.
Fowler has 3.
Yep. Interesting. Yeah.
They're all, I mean, sure.
Close.
Sure,
Yep.
he's got the most.
Yep.
I think that's semantics.
Yep.
I think they're all.
He
they're all
got the
there, and it
goal
all
line
doesn't
touchdown.
matter.
The goal line touchdown this week.
Panthers.
But I hear you.
Panthers at Seahawks. Marshawn Lynch is expected to play. His home road splits have him in beast mode at home. Panthers 8th worst against the running back this season. Seems like a perfect time for him to come back and for Thomas Rolls to go away.
Yeah, trade for him quickly.
For Lynch?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
If somebody believes all this talk that Rawls is going to kind of, he's carved a role, well, no. He's going to be...
Skill time.
Yeah, it's Marshawn Lynch is an animal. Are you kidding me, everybody? Really?
Take position scarcity out of it for a second.
Rawls, you know what? Good job, by the way. Good job, but sorry.
Sure. Take position scarcity out of it for a second. You can only roster one Seattle receiver. Who is it?
Lockett. Just because I don't want any of them, so I'll take the lottery ticket guy.
See, I would take Curse.
Yeah, all right. See, I don't see me ever playing Curse. I know what he is. I know what Baldwin is.
These guys.
Lockett, you never. You know what I mean? He's the wild card, so that's what I roster on my teams. Because none of those guys I want to play ever.
Jermaine Curse at least 7.6 points in standard leagues in all but one game this season.
Yeah, so if I have to play a guy because I guess bye week fill in, it depends on your roster structure. You know what I mean? If I got another guy that's like him, I'll play the lottery card.
This next guy, you want to find a bye week fill in for him, even though he's not on a bye week this week, and that's Jonathan Stewart. I'm going to be completely honest. I was writing up the notes for this game and totally forgot Jonathan Stewart was still a starting running back. He's been that bad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
by that bad,
he's just old and done, I guess.
He's not that old, though. He's like 27, 28.
28.
Yeah.
28,
He's not that old.
Yeah, but he's a guy that's dealt with
Justin
a lot of
Forsett has
injuries.
tore up the NFL the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's a guy that dealt with a lot of injuries. Justin Forsett hasn't gotten a lot of work throughout his career.
Well, neither has Stewart for that fact, and he's been injured half the time.
Yeah, I know. That's a good point. But the injuries.
Seriously, though, between 50 and 62 rushing yards in every game this season. I mean, if nothing else, he's consistent.
Sure.
Just one catch for -3 yards the last 3 games. So it's not happening there either. This week he gets the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. There's a below 50 game right there.
Yep.
Maybe buy low on him after this game.
Like you said, we just talked about it.
You hope he turns it around. Maybe it's just been bad matchups.
Sure.
I don't know.
Hey, who's going to take his
Grasping
job?
at
Who's going to take his job there?
Cameron Artis-Payne?
No.
No. I can't name another running back there.
Exactly.
It's that bad.
That's my point.
Chargers at Packers.
Totally.
Matt, are you ready to throw up a little bit here?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Matt is now leaning back in his chair. He's getting a bucket ready. See, it doesn't work. Only in sports does that work. Only in sports is it not creepy.
Yeah.
Just saying. Matt, player A.
Yes.
63 carries for 257 and a rushing touchdown. 7 receptions for 66 yards receiving.
That's player A.
Player B. 62 carries, 240 yards rushing, and a touchdown. So within 1 carry, 17 rushing yards, same rushing touchdowns. Receptions, 7 receptions, 113 yards. So player B actually has about 70 more receiving yards.
No idea.
Player A is Eddie Lacy. Player B, Isaiah Crowell.
Wow. Crowell. My boy.
Crowell has literally almost the same exact stats as Lacy, but more receiving yards.
Yeah, the Lacy thing, though, I mean, played 1 game on a pitch count, basically. A game that they didn't need him in, and he looked pretty good. He also missed a game.
Are you trying to make the case for
No, he missed a game, too. So he's played...
Lacy over Crowell?
No, I'm just saying he's not... I'm not worried about him. I'm not. This is too good of an offense. He's too good of a player. And he's getting enough touches that he's going to be just fine.
Just 1 rushing touchdown this season and held under 50 rushing yards in 3 games already this season.
3 games already. Yeah. I'm not worried about
That's
it.
not good.
It's unfortunate if you got him. This is not what you expected when you took him with your top 3 picks.
To be completely honest, this hasn't been the Packers' offense you expected.
No.
Lacy's been bad.
Rodgers was
Rodgers
bad
has not
this
been
weekend.
Rodgers has not been Rodgers.
Yeah. I miss Jordy.
Randall Cobb.
Jordy.
I think. Well, yeah, but Randall Cobb. I think that shoulder injury may be bothering him more than he's letting on. Just 8 for 67 over the last 2 games. Packers' offense is not what it used to be.
No, they'll be fine. They'll get it together. They'll go.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah. Melvin Gordon is the
buy low on Lacy. Wow. Right? I mean,
yeah.
Do you not think he's going to bounce back? This offense is going to get better. This is too good of a player.
Sure.
Buy low for me. No, you don't. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
no.
fine.
I mean, yeah.
I'm a Lacy owner. I'm pissed, but I know he's too good.
Starks is still getting his touches. This offense isn't looking good. You're trading for Lacy. What would you give up for him? What do you actually? Let me put it this way: you're a Lacy owner. What would you expect for him? Maybe that's bad because you probably expect the world.
Yeah, I would. Like Devontae Freeman for Eddie Lacy right now. If I'm the Lacy owner, wow.
I don't think you're being offered that though.
I don't think I would do it.
I don't think the Devontae guy would be offering that up.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But possible. If he's a guy like me that's a little bit worried, but I don't know. Yeah. Last week, I wouldn't have.
And what you got to do is take position out of it. You can't. I mean, don't do running back for running back. Do wide receiver for one.
There's not a wide receiver that I would.
Thomas.
No.
Antonio Brown.
No.
What I'm saying though, if you were going for Lacy, would you be offering any of those guys?
If I was going for Lacey, yeah, Antonio Brown. That's a good offer. I think actually, Antonio Brown.
Calvin?
No,
No, because they're both kind of...
I wouldn't do it. I think basically his value is still where it is and was, and I don't think you should get rid of him because right now it's at as low as it will be.
Melvin Gordon is the only NFL running back to have at least 12 carries in every game and not score a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, disappointing. That's
After having 2 rushing touchdowns in Week 1, Danny Woodhead has not seen the end zone since. And now they just got Gates back. I feel like this is telling a story that they're telling you we don't want to run the ball in the red zone.
Yeah, interesting. Good point.
It's interesting. Ravens at 49ers. Taliaferro kind of banged up last week and got scratched, which allowed Justin Forsett to have his second nice game in a row. Do we see the third? My notes are all messed up on this. I do not know what I'm reading right now. So Forsett against the 49ers this week, they've allowed the 6th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Justin Forsett, third nice game in a row.
I know, huh? He's bounced right back.
Funny
how things change.
3 bad games in a row and start the season. Now he's going to have 3 good games.
It's weird. He's just been one of those guys always that I've never been able to 100% back.
Hey, you know what? This is going to be good. Beginning of the season, you really liked Carlos Hyde.
Yep.
Right now, rest of the season, Carlos Hyde or Justin Forsett? I think it's Forsett, and I don't think it's close.
Yeah, I know. I'm just always such an upside guy. I think Hyde is such a better player. But that offense and that team is pretty bad. So, yeah. We know more. We know more about San Francisco.
Steve Smith has, quote-unquote, a chance to return this week. I also have a chance of winning $1 million and marrying Scarlett Johansson.
He's a tough guy. He's a tough guy.
So do I not have a chance with Scarlett? Is that what you're saying?
No. You don't have a chance at all. But he has a chance to play.
All right.
He's tough.
I want no part of the 49ers probably ever this season.
Yeah.
The only one thing I do want to point out, Anquan Bolden, I can't remember exactly, but off the top of my head, I think 20 targets the last 2 weeks.
I want Carlos Hyde when they play the Jaguars and teams like that when they can maybe keep it a game. But you're right. No, I don't want Bolden.
Ugly. Sunday night, highest over-under of the week, Patriots at Colts. Revenge time for the inflated ball incident. I'm loving the LeGarrette Blount narrative every week because it's helping me get Dion Lewis cheap in DFS. So many people look at LeGarrette Blount, especially after the 3-touchdown game. Oh my God, LeGarrette Blount, he's back. He's going to touch the ball. I watch the Patriots every week. I can tell you that's not the case. He only gets the ball when they are way ahead. And it just, if the game is close, Lewis is in the game. And if the game isn't close, Lewis has already made value in daily.
Right. I like it.
And that's why I love Lewis.
Yep.
It's that easy. It's, if the game is close, he's playing. Great. And if the game isn't close, you've already got what you needed out of him. So I'm fine with that too. That's what happened last. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple, kids.
How good has he been, huh?
He's been awesome.
Unbelievable. Because jeez. I never believed it.
Last week, Julian Edelman broke his streak of 10 straight games with 7 or more receptions. He is a PPR beast. He'll continue to be a staple in my cash games on DraftKings. I think I wrote about him last week in my cash game lineup, and I said, him or Julio Jones this week, give me Julian at $2,000 cheaper. He's almost...
This week? Yeah.
No, last week.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
$2,000 cheaper, and he's almost as automatic as Julio. And that savings lets you spend that money elsewhere.
I like it, yeah. What about LaFell coming back soon? Like, you're talking about a guy...
I'm interested.
He's probably available. He's obviously available in a lot of leagues.
Yes, very interested.
What kind of depth in the league is it that you need to go pick him up? You talking a 12-teamer?
I'm not picking him up. Anytime I have somebody on the pup list, I'm not looking to pick him up now.
Yeah.
It's probably next week. Somewhere in there. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a little early right now.
Yeah, I think he's a guy, though. He's one of those guys that can really step in, and he's a consistent, I'm flexing him.
He was a top 20 wide receiver
I'm
last
wide
year.
receiver twoing him.
Yes.
If it all goes the way it was, and I think it might,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Get him early.
You still ranking the Colts wide receivers Hilton, Moncrief, Johnson rest of the season?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. The Johnson thing, wonderful revenge game, blah, 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 last week. But also it was with a different quarterback than what we think, obviously, is going to be the rest of the year. Good luck.
All of them, I think, should have a nice game this week against the Patriots secondary.
Yeah, they're going to have to throw the ball.
Vegas has them losing. They're going to have to throw the ball.
Of course.
Andrew Luck should be back for this one.
Maybe, but not. Don't count on it.
Yeah.
Don't count on it.
Wow, I had a whole thing written up on Frank Gore, and that kind of went out the window with the Bradshaw signing today a little bit.
Why?
No?
Nah, Bradshaw's coming in to be...
Why they bring... That the question is
third down back.
Why are they bringing him in?
Because Robinson hasn't been doing anything. He's having ball security issues. They want a veteran backup to come in and have depth at the position that they trust.
You think that's
what I think the case is. Plus, he's a guy that's familiar with the system, so he can fill in easily. I think he'll take a few touches from Gore, but if they're winning ball games, Gore is going to be absolutely fine. I think he's going to catch more. I think he's going to be a little bit more out of the backfield type.
If anything, I think this is to preserve Gore for a hopeful playoff run and into the playoffs. Is I think what they're thinking?
Sure. And that's basically what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to kill Gore, but it's going to hurt his value a little bit. Right?
Yeah,
a little bit. Just a little bit. Though.
I'm just looking at Josh Robinson's numbers. I mean...
It's been horrible.
17 carries this season. I don't know. There's not enough there to call him horrible, right?
He just hasn't been very good. And
2.3 yards per carry, but...
Yeah.
17 carries.
Small sample size.
Yeah.
Regardless, I don't think you're. What's the matter? Are you worried if you're a Frank Gore owner? Do you think he was coming in to take the job?
No.
What were your notes?
No.
Read them. Read your notes. Because I don't think it matters.
It wasn't specific to Frank Gore, but I just in order for Frank Gore to be a playable starting running back this year, he's needed the touchdowns, and I feel like those might go away to Bradshaw now.
You think the touchdowns will?
Yes.
Bradshaw? Why? Bradshaw's not a big
He had 7 receiving touchdowns last year.
Yeah, that was...
What, all 7 were fluky?
I don't know. Gore... No, they weren't all fluky. They didn't have Frank Gore last year. Okay?
Frank Gore's rushing stats this season. 8 carries for 31 yards. 15 for 57. 14 for 86. 17 for 53. 22 for 98.
All right with that. Week 1
one
was horrible.
2 of those games are okay.
Yeah.
The other 3 are bad.
Yep. I don't think well, sure. We'll see. We'll see what kind of Bradshaw gets. 3 games this season under 7 fantasy points. Yeah.
2 under 5.
I think if you got a healthy, I think there's a lot more to the way Andrew Luck played to start this year. I think if you have a healthy Andrew Luck, this offense is going to be better, and Gore is going to be solid.
I do want to say this. The Patriots' run defense, I know we all saw them that first game of the season where Le'Veon Bell lit them up. Or not Le'Veon Bell, D'Angelo Williams.
Yep.
Lit them up.
Looked like Le'Veon Bell.
He did. Patriots' run defense, the first 2 games of the year, they let up 46 carries for 244 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, a 5.3 yard per carry average.
Yep.
The last 2 weeks, 48 carries for $132, no rushing touchdowns, a 2.75 yards per carry. Something changed.
Yep.
Something changed. I'm just saying. It's not, don't look back and go, oh, week 1, they let up all those rushing yards. Something changed, guys. They're a lot better now.
Yeah, in Dallas, I don't know. How good have they really been at running the ball? I guess
Andy?
No, last week.
Oh, gotcha.
The way they that's a team that we all believe should be very good at running the football. Is kind of what I was saying. So I think, yeah, they've really turned it around.
Giants at Eagles Monday night. Odell Beckham dealing with a hamstring injury. It's been a kind of running theme tonight, but season-long leagues, you're starting them. Daily leagues, I'm staying away because I don't want to risk it.
I think he's going to be all right. Keep an eye on it. It's Wednesday, From
Eli
what I read today, he's. They all say it, Don't think it's serious.
They're all going to say that.
Yeah.
They always do. Eli Manning averaging over 300 passing yards over the last 4 weeks. He also has 10 touchdowns, including 3 in each of the last 2 games. The Eagles have allowed the 3rd most pass attempts this season because of their up-tempo play. I like Eli Manning this week.
Eli's been good.
I like him.
I agree.
DeMarco Murray got back on track last week. This week got another great matchup against the Giants. I'm not touching him in cash games, but he's going to be in a few of my GPPs.
Yeah. Matthews has looked good, too. I think the offense in general.
Has he? That was my next guy on my list.
Yeah, he's been. I mean, not. Sorry, Ryan Matthews has also looked good running the ball in this situation. I think what I was saying is the offense is starting to look a little bit better. You know what I mean?
The offense is starting to click,
and it makes sense, right? Because there's a lot of new pieces there. So
Ryan Matthews, actually, real quick, just got notes on him later. 2 0-point games this season. But also 3...
Jordan Matthews.
Ryan Matthews.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
2 games this season with 0 points, but 3 games this season with either a touchdown or 100 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Very boom or bust. Very GPP-ish. But Jordan Matthews,
man,
not good.
No.
3 straight games under 50 receiving yards. And usually when that happens to another number 1 receiver, you think it's a problem with the quarterback.
Yeah, but he's been dropping the ball.
Last 2 weeks, Bradford has over 600 passing yards.
Yep.
So it's not
Matthews
like the
been dropping the
there.
football. He's been having trouble holding on to it, and that's important as a wide receiver, of course.
Last week it was Josh Huff with 70 and a touch, and the week before it was Cooper with 70 and a touch. So, just not Matthews. Time to jump ship, I think.
I don't know.
He's getting a lot of targets, though.
Yeah, exactly. The targets are there. The offense around him is getting better. He's clearly the target leader in this team. So for me, it's not time to get away from him. Time to get away from him in daily, sure. And I think you can still trust him as a flex option.
Jordan Matthews, 17th in the NFL in targets.
Yep.
7 or more targets in every game.
Right. So, flexible guy still for me. And you can't. What are you going to do? Trade him? What are you going to get for him right now? Nothing.
Yeah. And that's it. Never. I mean, I don't think we've explicitly said it on the podcast, but never trade. Never sell low. Buy low. Never sell low.
Right.
Just hold a guy. If a guy's not performing, hold him.
Yep.
And then the first game he blows up, people have short attention spans, recency biased. Trade him.
Yep.
If that's how you really feel. Matt, that's going to do it, unless you have something you wanted to add. If you wanted me to do some more narrative, Matt looking down at his phone.
I'm good.
Staring at me like, shut the hell up. Podcast's over.
Go.
All right, guys, you got fantasy questions, make sure to hit us up on Twitter. Make sure to check out my cash games that I put up every week, my cash game lineups, and my GPP video. We talked about it earlier. It's been hitting pretty good lately. I've been picking some pretty good picks, so check that out this week. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
See ya.